Welcome everyone to a Tortuga Power channel update. This is long overdue. It's been a long time since the last one, and the funny thing is, the reason why it's been so long is because there's been so many things going on which probably were worthy of channel updates that I actually haven't had time to do an update. At least that's my excuse. I'm sure that if I had just not gotten quite as much sleep or something, anyway, it doesn't matter. So here in this video, I'm just going to give a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. First, Discord. I'm going to invite everyone to join me on my channel, which I just started there. Then there's two big game sales which are going on just this weekend. Now this video was supposed to go out like 3 days ago, but again I've been busy, so I wasn't able to get to it. So there's the GOG.com sale, which is the GOG.com spring sale finale. And there's also this weekend the Slytherin weekend deal. Unfortunately, by the time you get this video, there's probably only 12 hours left in the GOG.com one, so please make a trip over there ASAP. If not, GOG.com is a great place anyways. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but if not, at least you'll have until Monday morning to do the Slytherin weekend deal. Now, if it's already Monday morning when you're watching this, it might be too late, but maybe go over and check it out anyway. Okay, so first Discord. Oh, and then the third thing I'm going to discuss in this video is actually going to be a little bit of upcoming channel content. It'll kind of be sprinkled in, but at the end I'm going to highlight or tease an upcoming series that a few people have asked about and I'm finally comfortable to reveal. So, Discord. Discord is, I think it's basically just the new IRC. You know, you get on and chat with a bunch of people. I have my own channel, so one of the things I want to do is I'm going to have like a quick giveaway. The way I want this to work is I just have some games that the One Piece Pirate Warriors looks pretty good because I used to play Dynasty Warriors. I never owned it. It was just my friend. I never owned a PlayStation, but he had PlayStation 2 and we played, I think, Dynasty Warriors 4. But this looks very similar to that, so it kind of looks entertaining, but just being very realistic with myself, I'm not going to have the time to play this because I don't even have the time to play a lot of the games that are much more up my alley anyway. So I'm just going to give it away. Any of these 4 games are up for grabs. So in order to enter, you just go to the giveaway channel under my Discord channel. For the Discord channel, by the way, I'll leave a link to it in the description, and also I'll pin a note in the comments about it. How you use Discord, you can get the app as I have here, but you can actually even run it from the browser. The only thing you're going to need to join my channel is just an authenticated email. So just choose whatever spam email you want. You can change your username later. You can make your username not anything related to your email. So authenticate it. You know, they send the link, that whole song and dance. And once you have an authenticated account, you can join my Discord. You can do that all through the browser. You don't need the app, which is one of the very cool things about Discord. But once you get in here, go to the giveaway channel, and you can see I already put this sample. So the way I want it to work is give yourself a number. Let's just work numerically, like enumerate yourself basically. First person will be number 1, next person number 2. This is just going to be so that I can pick a random number. And I can quickly find who won the game. After that, post the game numbers you're interested in, and also post them in the order of interest. So like person A in my sample here, they prefer game 3 out of all these first, and then 4, and then 2, and then if they don't happen to win any of those first 3, they're still interested in Rive, but just slightly less so. And then the second example, the whole be a good person thing. Don't pick games if you really aren't going to play them ever. I think the people on my channel are not the type of people who would do that, but so this person doesn't think that they're really interested in Rive or Morphblade, so they only asked for games 2 and 4, and in that order. So then when I have maybe after like a week or so, I'll just randomly select some people from this channel and give those games away. Now these are, I guess, from just Humble Monthly, I think. So just some games I'm probably not going to play. Now, what the Discord is, though, is basically just a chat program. Mostly, I'm seeing it used as text chat, but it can also be used for voice channels. I'm kind of in the background, I'm also setting up for maybe Patreon support from this, but because the renaming of things and all that has just gotten very difficult with the Rule the Wave series and the Dominions 4, I'm kind of realizing that I need a more streamlined process for getting people's desired names into the game rather than just having to search through all the comments on YouTube. So I think that I will try to get something started on the Discord instead. And I'm thinking about linking that to Patreon for, I mean, not even so much because it takes a long time to organize the names and put them into the game. That's not that big of a deal. To me, one of the things is like in the Rule the Wave series as Japan, we ran out of names. Like we ran out of ships to name. And there's probably maybe a third of the names or a quarter of the names are from people who may not even watch anymore. At least, I saw a quarter of the comments asked for a name, but I never saw them again. You don't know. There's no like tracking of whether they watch. Maybe they do. But if we have Patreon, it'll kind of filter out the people who stop by in episode one, ask for a name, take up a ship, but then never even watch. So yeah, I think it'll be nice as like a very fair. I mean, I'm going to set it up, of course, as like the first tier can get its name in the game. I'm not going to. The point is to make things easier, not to tax everyone for their interest. That's the reason why I didn't want to do Patreon at all. But I'm now seeing that at least as a potential benefit, and some other things, of course, too. Okay, so just to give you an idea, this is the Strategy Gamer channel. This is Uper, who's also the Strategy Gamer guy. Oh yeah, so you can see is like historical gamers here. I know XTRG's here. We've been talking a lot. So like XTRG and I were talking about, and historical gamer. We all three have been talking about doing a series. And XTRG and I were just kind of brainstorming today, and we came up with an idea. So we let Historical Gamer know, but we even pinged him on this common chat in the Strategy Gamer. So, anybody can come and talk. And Uper, this is Casey from the Strategy Gamer website. It's all just a free flow of talk, right? So this is, I just kind of consider it like the new IRC. Yeah, so there it is. That's what it is. Come to my channel, join, and I have several reasons for inviting you here. First and foremost, it's a way for me to get in, like maybe even play games with some of the people, some of the commenters, or to discuss things like sometimes comments they're very, and okay, so I need to stop and make sure that I make this point. The comments that are video related but I would very much prefer that those remain on the video. And not just because that helps with visibility of the videos, but because I don't want it to seem like an elitist thing, like, to comment, you have to go over to his Discord channel. No, it's the comment section is set up to be a comment area for videos on that video, and I think it's just simply the most appropriate place to put those kind of things, so let's keep it there. But this will be a great place just to hang out, to talk about random things, even like ultimately the games I'm going to be talking about for the 2 sales. You can come on and say, hey, I think you'll like this game, or you missed this one, or I don't know why you recommended that. Can you please talk to me more about this? That might be interesting. Or what I'm setting this up for is, let's say one evening I get home and I'm like, okay, well, I have like an hour. When I only have like an hour and I'm not sure when I'm going to have to go or whatever, I don't like to stream, but I've had this idea because I want to like interact with everyone. But now I can just go on the Discord and be like, okay, if anybody's here who wants to play this game, come join me. I think that would be fun because the commenter base for my channel is a really high quality that we've been lucky enough to avoid a lot of the less well-behaved, less desirable individuals on the internet. Now, I think that's all I'm going to say about Discord. Just feel free to check it out. I think it is the way of the future. Steam chat, things like this, I think are all going to die off, and Discord is going to take their place. Steam chat, I think, is just like it was a tacked on thing to like promote Steam's main thing, which is selling games. And I think that Discord is a very natural replacement for that, and it's certainly a much more efficient, effective, a better form of communicating. So this is definitely where I hope to be communicating with you guys in between the comments on the videos. Okay, so now that said, let's get over to GOG.com, this is like one of my favorite websites for selling games. Steam is a necessity. It's obvious. They do a really good job with their sales. They have a lot of games. It's nice to have everything on one hub. I really, really, really hate Origin, and I think there's another one. What is it? I don't know. I hate all the other client-driven ones, but Steam is reasonable, and but GOG is still my favorite because they are like the good guys. They trust their clientele. I feel like they're really working for the customer. I don't get any like feeling of corporate greed from them. So I really like to support them whenever I can. I know that I got my Ultimate General Gettysburg game from them, and they have really good quality games to offer as well. Like Dragon Age, that's a fun game. Tyranny looked interesting. It also Pillars of Eternity looked interesting, but I haven't got it quite yet. It's on sale for $18. Well, that's not that bad. I like to buy the games I'm not sure about for $10. That's kind of like my price break point. Anyway, GOG, great website. I really highly recommend. They do all their content is DRM free, so I can't stress enough how cool that is. Sorry, I'm getting tired. It's getting hard to speak. But anyways, go check out the sale. It's going to end very soon, unfortunately, because this video was supposed to go out Thursday, and now it's well beyond Thursday. I just actually clicked on this. I don't know. I've heard about Nexus, the Jupiter incident. I think there's a really good Babylon 5 mod for it, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I don't know enough about it, but this is not one I'm necessarily advertising or recommending. I really like all city builders, and SimCity 3000, believe it or not, is my favorite of the SimCity series. It's much less developed than SimCity 4, but SimCity 4 actually requires a significantly larger investment of time, not just to learn, but even to play once you know, because there's like multiple zones you have to go through, and SimCity 3 just allows you to sit in one single zone. You interact with your neighbors who are AI. You don't have to go build those provinces yourself. And I really like the cartoon style stuff. This is probably my favorite SimCity game of the series. Okay, but for $250, even if it wasn't my favorite, it's a bargain, right? I don't know why I have SWAT 3 in here. It just reminds me of Rainbow Six. This is my first game. The SWAT 3 and SWAT 4, I don't know which one's better. I will eventually probably pick them both up and then maybe never play them, but I already played one of them. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4. Just reminds me, like I said, of Tom Clancy's not Ghost Recon. That was another good game, but Rainbow Six, which was, just as a fun tidbit, my first exposure to online like combat or video gaming. I remember doing team deathmatch in Rainbow Six. I don't remember which version, and I hated it immediately. So it's left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't think that the internet has gotten to be a friendlier place since then. So I doubt that that's kind of the reason why I don't do like first-person shooter, like Halo type things to go online or whatever. Okay, anyway, Invisible Ink. I saw this on Marbazir's channel. I think he did a short playthrough of it, and I was really intrigued by it. It seems really interesting. So this one I'm actually putting out there not as much as a recommendation as to ask if anybody else has feedback on it. And I like that if these kind of videos, especially when there's sales, now given that there's only like 12 hours left in this one by the time this video goes up, it might be a little bit late, but even if we don't get a conversation about this going before the sale ends, I'd still be interested in knowing what people think about Invisible Ink. Basically just making this a two-way dialogue. I recommend games, I talk about games, but then the comments can also be a place where other people recommend games to me. So I think that this is a pretty interesting game, but I haven't investigated enough to maybe figure out if it's what I would want to play. Okay, so then moving on to Dungeon Keeper 2, I just thought for 150 this is a fantastic game to pick up, not just to support GOG, but because this is what GOG does. They bring back these legacy games, which is amazing. I don't think Dungeon Keeper 2, I have it somehow playable still, but I don't remember what kind of fancy trick I had to do, if I had to use DOSBox or what. But they make it packaged very nicely for you in just a single installer, DRM free, like I said. And for 150, that to me is going to be something I pick up before the end of this sale. So this is a reverse Diablo. You remember in a lot of these action RPGs, you're a good person, you go down into the depths of some lair to kill some bad guys. Well, in this game, it's the opposite. It's like a tower defense game where you are the bad guys defending your lair. Lots of comical, lots of humor. It's a great game. Obviously very dated, 1999, I bet. Yeah. So many good games in 1999 to 2001. I bet this one was... Yep, 2000. There's so many good games in this 1999 to 2001 time frame. When was Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri? 1999. It's amazing. Let's get to that next then. This is probably one of the best 4X games ever made. I didn't actually play it for a long time because I had Civ 2. I was much younger, so I didn't have practically any budget to speak of. I had to wait for birthdays to ask for computer game gifts. So I had Civ 2 and I was happy playing with that, so I never got this, but this has, now finally I can say this has a very good, how did it describe it? The feel to the game, the cutscenes, the theme, the storyline going on in the background is just really wonderful and quite mature, so people might appreciate that. The game mechanics are Civ 2, so it is the square-based grid for Civilization instead of the hex-based grid, which probably is, well, preferable now, which we've had from Civ 4 onward. But it's still a fantastic game, and I think well worth it. So for 150, go ahead and maybe check it out. Well, I guess, I'm not going to try to get people to spend money that they won't get any return on. So if you think you would be a little hesitant of old interfaces, maybe reconsider. And just another game I saw in here, Theme Hospital, hilarious game. This is like an old school prison architect or an airport tycoon, something like that. This is one of the originals. This and Roller Coaster Tycoon, I think were like the originals, a really good game. Look at this, 1997, even older. But one of the best theme-based games ever made. Okay, moving on to Slytherin Steam sale for the weekend. So you have probably not just 12 hours, but a whole 24 hours before this sale expires. The biggest one to promote, Distant Worlds Universe, the lowest price it's ever been at $20. The lowest price it'll probably ever be before Distant Worlds 2 is released. So if you've ever been interested in checking that out, I would recommend getting it, and this is the time to do so. I also do have a tutorial on my channel. It's my magnum opus for the channel, I would say. I spent a long time trying to get the tutorial, the Distant Worlds tutorial I have. I probably did 15 takes per episode, trying to make sure that everything I said makes sense, if it was organized in a logical manner. It was quite an undertaking. One sec. 20 minutes straight of talking can make you thirsty. Anyway, Distant Worlds Universe, I obviously have nothing but the highest recommendations about this game. I would consider it probably the best 4X game. With Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri is definitely up there in the runnings, and I really like... you got to pick one of the Civilization games to include as well. Maybe for me, I really enjoyed Civ 5, actually. I did enjoy Anyways, let's not get into that, but Distant Worlds Universe, great game. They have a lot of other good ones. I'm going to point out some of these. I don't have Warhammer 40k Armageddon on my list, but this is an interesting game too. Let's just open it real fast, see what it is. Okay, this is, yeah, hex-based. Kind of looks like tactical. Very interesting. I'm actually going to keep this up and maybe look into that. But there are lots of good games. Just go check out the list yourself, and then I'm going to highlight a few. If I missed one that you think I should absolutely play, please let me know. Again, if these recommendations don't come in time for the sale, I'll just put it on my wish list or write it down, and I'll make sure to come back to it at another time. So, first, Distant Worlds Universe, we already talked about that. Mono, okay, yeah, fantastic game. Even on sale, it's still $28, $27. So, a bit pricey, but this really has that super realistic feel. You really do feel like you're actually commanding the combined air and naval operations for a modern army, a modern military. I recommend, if you're not familiar with this, to check out Squatting Frog's channel. He does some really good playthroughs of this, and maybe I will one day as well, but for now I'm still learning the game, and I'll probably start off learning the game by getting Command Northern Inferno. I don't have this yet, but I do want to get it. This is like the standalone campaign version of this. Like, this game is mostly scenarios, so you just load the scenario and you run through, but this is some kind of campaign version of that. Okay, Advanced Tactics Gold. Now, one of the series of games on here is the Decisive Campaigns games. Now, I don't really know them. People talk about Case Blue being like the ultimate in the VR design game or whatever. VR Designs is the name of the company who makes this. They also made Advanced Tactics Gold, which one of my favorite games of all time. So I haven't played the Decisive Campaigns, believe it or not. It's weird. But I've so enjoyed Advanced Tactics Gold, and basically Advanced Tactics Gold is the random scenario generator version of the Decisive Campaigns. Whereas Decisive Campaigns, Case Blue is, well, it's Case Blue. Actually, it's kind of similar to Barbarossa. I don't know. Barbarossa's probably... I don't know enough about these games to speak intelligently about them, but there's also the From Warsaw to Paris. I mean, this makes sense. We already know what this is, the Western Theater. But what Advanced Tactics Gold does... Whoops, did I just close it? No, I didn't. I closed Distant Worlds, that's fine. What Advanced Tactics Gold does is it gives you that, like, World War II environment, but in a random scenario generation box, which is really cool, because essentially it's infinitely replayable. And what's more is people make really good scenarios with it that actually end up being, you can almost get some of the playability of the historical maps, which this does not include by default, from other people's scenarios, which is pretty cool. Okay, so Advanced Tactics Gold, just the one I want to highlight. $10 is not the cheapest it's ever been. I think I've seen $7.50 before, maybe even lower. I think $7.50. I can't remember, but it's worth it for $10 for sure. Something to keep an eye on, and also I do have a tutorial for this as well. Das Tactic actually just did a playthrough on this if you're interested in checking that out. For Distant Worlds, which I've now closed, I would recommend checking out Larry Monty or Sabouts. Sabouts has some good Distant Worlds content on his channel as well. Now the next two, Commander of the Great War and To End All Wars, are both World War I era, and I'm reading The Guns of August still. I'm almost through it, but it kind of inspired me to want to play a World War I style game, and although I have Making History's The Great War, it's a little bit too casual for me, I think is the word I'm looking for. It's more based on a lot of the economy and the production and stuff, and a little bit less focused on the actual combat. So I'm looking, in order to simulate more of the combat, these are the two games that I've isolated as the top picks. Now, I think I already mentioned that To End All Wars is the game that we'll probably be playing with XTRG and the Historical Gamer. That's what I was talking about on the Discord channel with the Historical Gamer. Western Entente, Eastern Entente, Central Powers, three like factions essentially. It obviously works well for 3 players then. So I might also do a Commander of the Great War playthrough on my channel then. because I think that this game is also quite good. But those are both on sale right now. Civil War 2, once I do my To End All Wars, I've long planned this. I've mentioned it several times. And especially in all the... I don't like when a game's like if there's too many other different people doing Let's Plays of like a series, for example, Ultimate General Civil War is really popular right now. I don't like to do it because if someone else is doing it, there's probably much better content out there. Why would I just put more waste in the waste bin? I like to do things when other people aren't covering them, just to make sure that, because oftentimes I'll look around and be like, oh man, nobody's covering this now. They all covered it when it first came out, and now nobody's covering it a year later. So since that's something I want to see myself, I kind of tried to fill that void myself. So Civil War 2 is an example of that, where a lot of people were excited about Ultimate General Civil War, and I thought that would be a perfect time to do a Civil War 2. It's like same theme, so people who are interested in one might also be interested in the other. But it's a totally different game, obviously. Much more strategic, whereas Ultimate General is more tactical. One day I'll get to this. Probably after the To End All Wars campaign. Lastly, the King on the Hill, Gary Grigsby. This one, his War in the East. It's on sale. I mean, if you consider $40 on sale, $80 normally. Quite expensive still, but it's the creme de la creme if you're interested in hardcore World War II war games. Definitely. It simulates probably the most important front in World War II. Probably World War II was really won or lost in the Eastern Front, so then this is your game. I'm supposed to do a multiplayer series with XTRG, but I want to do a small campaign or a small series, scenario, something on my channel first, just to give me time to get familiar with the game. And then last we have, so that's going to cover all the stuff that's on sale, but last I have Star Trek up here. Why do I have Star Trek up here? That's because one of the series that people have talked about, especially being kind of related to Rule the Waves, kind of being related to Distant Worlds, but people have been asking me to do a series on Aurora 4X. So I want to do one. And it's not going to be my standard way of playing, which is to be very min-max efficient. I'll still be, doing some things, but I want to do this one from more of a role-playing standpoint. Kind of how I set up my Distant Worlds universe in an Honorverse fashion. And I mean, after that, I went into all the min-max stuff, and I'm trying to win. But in this one, I think that Aurora 4X is much more receptive to a role-playing start, because most people start with no other nations actually enabled, and you have to explore systems to enable them, which means that you're under no time constraint. So, by the way, this game is like the ultimate in 4X. Take Distant Worlds and probably double the complexity. Just to show you, in order to build a ship... Come on, I know that's somewhere. There it is. Got it. In order to build a ship, let's go to my Viking, which is... Don't necessarily copy this design if you're already familiar with Aurora 4X and looking for good things. This is just something I'm still working on, but if you want to design a ship, you design everything. You design the fuel storage. You design the engineering spaces, which allows it to have a maintenance life. Things break down over time. Damage control. You choose the engine, which I'll show more in a second. Okay, for fire control, we can choose we have beam fire control, missile fire control. This is another missile fire control. We have missile launchers, various sizes. There's anti-ship missiles, anti-missile missiles, magazines for storing those, non-laser energy weapons. There's laser energy weapons. It's a mouthful, but it's wonderful. Once you get to know this game, you feel like there's nothing that could more appropriately feel like what the future really might be like than this game. It just does such a good job of modeling all the different design elements of a spaceship, and it's fantastic. Now, it may look like it's overwhelming, but the thing is, like, let's take something like you look at active sensors, and there's engines and all this. There's active, there's passive sensors. Okay, what do we plan to do? Wait, was this EM? Oh, it was. Okay. What do we plan to do with this, though? Or how do we get these here? Well, all those components are not just you. I mean, you can start off researching stuff. So we have to research. Let me just go to finished projects. For, let's say, missile and kinetic weapons. So at some point we completed Gauss cannons. We completed missile agility. Let's go to propulsion. That might be a better one. At some point I completed fuel consumption reductions. I got different engine technology. I got better maximum engine power, stuff like this. Yeah. Then all that translates into the design window. So once I get, let's say with, let's talk about active sensors. Sure, why not just this? Once I get better active grav sensors, they appear as an option under my drop down here. And once I get better EM sensors, it appears here. And then I actually design from that, choosing min-maxing wherever I want, doing whatever I want. I get a sensor, an active sensor. Now, what I'll do is I'll create that. Then I actually have to research that component before it appears on the design. Now, okay, I think if you're looking at this and you're considering playing it, you might be overwhelmed and this is too much, but it all makes sense the way it works, right? It makes sense that you first research radar technology, and then you actually have to research how to apply that radar technology to an actual device. Then you build that device. But once you have radar technology in general, you don't just start putting circuits together into a radar configuration. No, you actually have to do some research on how should we make a radar like this. Anyway, so it makes sense if you just verbalize it, if you talk about it out loud. And that's what I wanted to do with this series on Aurora 4X, is just kind of talk about things, just tell you how the Empire is developing. You don't need to understand the underlying mechanics of what I'm doing for like sensor size, why I'm choosing a specific minimum resolution. I can give some very some context clues to why I'm doing that, but you don't need to understand the mechanics to still, I think, enjoy a playthrough. Now that's my idea, but I'm interested in hearing from you if that is something you're interested in seeing. Now the reason why I talked about Star Trek is because I wanted to do a role-playing start. Now you can start at any point in time. By the way, in Aurora 4X you usually start with only 500 million people left on Earth in the year 2025. That's the default start. Now I think that pairs itself really well with the supposed history of the Federation, that after the end of World War III, some scientist builds the first warp-capable vessel, the Phoenix, in 2063. Now I already mentioned that you can start with no non-player races active, and I think that that's what I would do. And I would give myself until 2063 to leave the system. That would be a role-playing requirement, that we have to get a ship jump capable up and ready by 2063. So people who have played Aurora 4X or know it already, you'll see that this is kind of a cool little self-imposed condition. But people who don't, just know that I'm going to be evolving in my in the home system of Sol. First, I'm going to just get different colonies going on Mars, the moon. I'm going to have asteroid mining complexes all over the place, sending resources back to Earth. All these things, I just think. And then what I plan to transition to out of Star Trek, as soon as I have my first warp capable system. Like this has, here's a jump point here. There's Earth, Mars. Here we have, this was Jupiter, and then Saturn, I guess. So we have a jump point here. This all translates into the galactic map. You can see I only have 7 waypoints, or 7 galactic systems. There's a total of 1,000 in this galaxy. That's the default number. So we're only the tip of the iceberg. And I have not encountered any other extraterrestrial nations. So just by whatever chance, haven't found anybody else quite yet in the world or in the galaxy. Now, after 2063, I plan on launching that ship, and then I want to build an actual enterprise, like a single, well-built exploration ship to go and launch itself on a very long-term exploration mission. Because I feel like the roleplay elements here are a lot of fun to do. I also want to do eventually transition into a Weber, David Weber's Honorverse type situation when it comes down to building combat ships, because the main way that ships are designed in Aurora 4X to be effective are either laser combatants, but a lot of people would say that missile ships are actually the best. So this is exactly what Weber did in his Honorverse series. The first book, by the way, is free at some publishing site. It's called On Basilisk Station. I highly recommend the first 3 or 4 books. I think the series really peters out quickly after that, but the first 3 or 4 are quite enjoyable. Now, in his world, it's like take World War I style ships like dreadnoughts, super dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, stuff like this, but put them in space. And they still have broadsides because of some weird physics he creates, but basically, ships mainly engage through missile engagements. It's mostly about missiles. Now, later on in the series, he gets into fighters and carriers come into play and all that, which we can also do. I mean, carriers are a big part of late game combat in Aurora, but at least to start, the progression of tech in Aurora 4X is very similar to how it might go in David Weber's Honorverse. So I feel like once we have the Enterprise out and about, from there we transition into like an Honorverse type scenario where we build really big missile dreadnoughts and stuff like that. And I think it'll be a lot of fun, even if you don't know how to play Aurora. I think it would be interesting to watch, just to watch the story unfold. But if you think I'm wrong about that, please let me know, because otherwise I'll be dedicating a lot of time to a series that there's no interest in. And the point of this series would be as a fun channel content. So this video is almost 40 minutes long. Good God, I turned a 25-minute video into almost a 40-minute one. So I apologize about that, but feel free to leave comments on any of this stuff. Hopefully I'll see you on the Discord server. Go check out those sales before they end. Let me know if you have any recommendations or anything like that. And until the next time I see you, thanks for watching and take care.